When I was in Matric, to prepare for the exams, I had to either buy a bundle of past papers. You could go to your local store, it could be CNA, and you would pay an exorbitant amount of money to just access that, to be able to practice to get ready for your Matric exams. Or you'd have to go on some sort of scavenger hunt to find past papers to be able to practice, but also to find explainers to help break down some complex concepts for you. Well, James and the team at LunaLearn has turned the tide on that, creating a WhatsApp API platform that gives matriculants access to past papers, as well as the ability to practice as they prepare and study for their exams. Tomorrow, the Minister of Basic Education will be announcing and giving the country an update on the state of readiness for the exams that are taking place. We're having that conversation in this hour. In this hour, we're also talking to our various desks, taking a look at their diaries for the week ahead. Of course, we're going to be looking at the politics desk, the international relations desk, and the international affairs desk, rather, as well as the sports desk. All of that and more coming up in this hour. We'll also try to get you some analysis on that press briefing that was done by the Minister of Energy and Electricity, announcing an energy undertaking that will, over the next 15 years, rebuild what is the capacity of Eskom 2.5 times over at a cost of 2.2 trillion rand. That's about 20% of South Africa's GDP. Very ambitious undertaking, but does it all add up and does it make sense? We'll get into the details of that. But right now, let's get into this conversation around the past papers. In fact, it's only one day left before thousands of grade 12 learners across South Africa sit for the 2025 National Senior Exam certifications. It's the final stretch of what has been a challenging school year, with learners now making the most of every hour to revise and prepare. As the countdown begins, many are turning to online platforms and digital tools to help them prepare, as well as to boost their confidence and performance. One of them is Luma Learn, an interactive learning app that functions much like a digital tutor, offering access to past papers, revision quizzes, and subject support. In studio, we're joined by James Barnard, the founder of Luma Learn, to talk about how technology is transforming exam preparation and helping matriculants make the most of their final preparation. But before that, let's take a listen to how other Matric learners are preparing for the exams.
For my exams, I use past papers and study notes that they give us in school. Then, yeah, I could say that.
Most of the time I join my sister. She's a teacher. Then he gives me extra classes.
Studying hard and not sleeping, because I cannot sleep without a degree.
Now we are cross-nighting. Yep. We now have a motivational talk, a prayer. So that's where we start with preparing our girls. We are going to be praying for them, handing them over to the Lord to say, here they are, they've studied, they've done very well. So the Lord must take over from there. And we are now going to be cross-nighting with them. They'll be attending still. Now that they're starting exams next week, it means they must stay at home. Even when they're not writing, they come to school. We teach them, try and remind them some of the things that they might have forgotten. And then from them, yeah, they'll still be coming, even during the weekend, they'll be coming to school until their very last paper. So they don't stay home. So they come to school. And another strategy that we brought in is that those that are performing well are assisting the others who are struggling. So we have what we call peer teaching. So in the absence of the teacher, or even when the teacher is there, we then request them to assist. Especially at our boarding school, when there is no teacher, we brought in those that are doing very well. So they assist the other learners at night.
It's a stressful time, it's an anxious time, but it's also a hopeful time. Let's speak to the founder of Luma Learn, James Barnard. James, when did you do Matric? What was that experience like?
2019. Yeah, and like you said, finding past papers is always such a mission. But fortunately, I went to a really good school, Maritzburg College, and we had all the resources that we need.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to give your teacher a call, you could give your teacher a call. The class sizes were small, the teacher was always on hand. But that's not the case for majority of the learners in South Africa.
Look, past papers and quizzes are one thing, subject support is another, and I think that's as critically important during the examination period. On the eve of my biology exam, or what we called at the time life sciences exam, I forgot how to identify the mitochondria in a plant cell, and I had to figure that out. I somehow lost my textbook, and luckily I was able to find a YouTube video that assisted me at the time. But if I have your platform, is that something I could be able to get assistance with?
Exactly. So all you would have had to do was save Luma's number, send it a message, and then you can ask the exact question that you're struggling with. Or if you ask for the past paper, once you get it, you can screenshot that question about the mitochondria and say, Luma, please explain this to me. I don't understand how it works. And Luma will explain to you on WhatsApp in your language exactly how to answer the question.
Fantastic, magnificent. Talk to me about the API. How does it function?
Perfect. So we've built it, we've used WhatsApp as a user interface, and then we've got an app in the background that runs using a large language model that's based on the CAP syllabus. So every single question that's asked is answered based on the CAP's syllabus. So if you ask a question that's outside of the CAP syllabus, Luma says to you, sorry, I can't help you with that. So it's strictly CAP, so there's a guardrail set up with a large language model, and learners can't have access to things that they shouldn't have access to.
Yeah. What LLM are you using? Is it Grok? Is it Gemini? Is it ChatGPT?
It's OpenAI, one of OpenAI's models, that's correct.
Right, and of course you'd have to put this through some rigorous testing. Have you found it to be correct, reliable and accurate on every single question all of the time?
Yeah, so one of the things that we did was we developed a sort of testing platform with 1,000 fake users. So we took the questions that learners were asking frequently, and we'd keep asking them with that testing ground. And we could then see where it was sometimes getting it wrong and where there might be bugs in the system. So yeah, it's just rigorous testing as much as we can. But we've got a really great development team. My co-founder, Matt Cornelius, he's our Chief Product Officer, and we've got another guy named William, who's our main developer, software engineer. He's based in the UK, and they work day and night just to make sure that the answers are as accurate as possible. Because, as we know, AI is just getting better and better and better.
Are you able to integrate into it other resources such as Khan Academy on YouTube, for instance, and have those video concept explainers being part of what learners can access? For instance, if I don't want to read 300 words of an answer to explain a complex concept to me, but I would watch a 3-minute video. Is that something that is able to be integrated into the output of the LLM? Definitely.
So that is definitely something that can be integrated, but we've always kept our focus on keeping it as simple as possible. The more features you add, the more difficult it is to use, and our target market is really the learners that don't have access to the most basic resources.
Right.
So the more features we add, the more difficult it becomes for them to access it. So I'll give you a good example. Even in the beginning, when people sign up, sometimes the sign-up form gets a bit complicated for people. So the more we add, the more difficult it is to use. But it's definitely something that we can integrate in the future. But for our target market, it's not something that we're too concerned about right now.
Yeah. Have you guys experienced any sort of downtime due to surge in volumes, or is your cloud storage processing sufficient to ensure that you don't experience that?
Well, I'll give you a funny story. So last year it was just my co-founder and I, Matt, and we started with 300 kids in KwaZulu-Natal. We then presented to another 300 in the Northwest. And from those 600, it grew to over 8,500 without us even marketing it. And it became too expensive for Matt and I to run ourselves, so we had to switch it off because of that. So we spent this year developing the platform so that we could onboard an unlimited number of learners, but we've also spent this year on the business side of it. And we've started working with a world-renowned and serial entrepreneur, Christopher Lyon, who's based in California. Okay. And he's now guiding us on this journey, and Luma is now available for an unlimited number of learners. So we're starting to grow the platform. It's the first week that we've actually started marketing Luma. So previously, guys would ask us, where's your socials, where's your Facebook page, Instagram page? Like, we don't want to be found. We don't want more learners. But we've just launched our social media platform, so we're going to start boosting the platform to get as many learners as we can.
Accessing past papers is one thing, but examiners might introduce novel questions that aren't reflected in past papers, and of course it is based on the CAPS curriculum, but that doesn't mean that how concepts are tested couldn't change. It certainly could, right? The scope could change of what examiners might find to be important to test this time around. Are you guys thinking about how to, get learners to think about some of those others?
No, of course. So we've built Luma, the tutor part of it. We're using the Socratic teaching method, which is Luma then asks you a follow-up question based on what you just asked. So if I ask you about the mitochondria, it will follow up a question, why is the mitochondria important? Not just locating it. So we always like to encourage learners to dive deeper. So if you were to use ChatGPT, like you've mentioned, you're just going to get a straight answer. But with Luma, it sort of guides you towards the answer, like your teacher would. So your teacher's not just going to give you the answer. He's going to sort of guide you to the answer. But they're also going to ask you a follow-up question just to have that critical thinking take place. Yeah.
And how do learners access it?
Oh, all you do is save the phone number, you send it a message, and you start learning.
What is the phone number? Read it out for us.
It's 078-785-8164.
Okay, look, we'll put it up again later on, but I have one last quick question. It's a selfish question from myself. When's the Series A opening? Are you taking private placements? What's the price to play?
We've got
promise you, this isn't Shark Tank.
We actually have another round coming up in December. So we have some investors coming out in November. We'll be taking them to a few schools here in probably Soweto. We were in Soweto today. But
call me. I'll be available. Call me. Well, that's how we're going to have to leave it. We'll put up that number for you a little bit later on. And of course, you can go onto the SABC News platforms if you'd like to access that number so that you are able to text Luma Learn on your WhatsApp so that you can access the API. We're going to take a break. On the other side of this, we continue.